You're gonna be in the front. Get in the front. Backpacks in the front. Chair. You did such a good job. I'm trying to figure it out. Yes. Okay. Are you lonely? No. But you're welcome.
Welcome. Thank you for coming in this evening. Tonight we are celebrating Thank You for Watching by Kate Kavanaugh. So, an irrevocable psychological thriller, Thank You for Watching, shows the humor and dark side of the life of an influencer think, and then there were none but a sponsored live streams. Kate is joined by Zara Hoffman. Zara is the founder, is found on, sorry if I mispronounce it, Inimitable Books, a distribution client of Simon and Schuster. Let's give a round of applause for Kate and Zara.
Don't forget to turn yours on. Just kidding. We're professionals, we swear. Totally. You're at Barnes and Noble. I know. I was just in New York City. Right. It's crazy. I was just telling my brother, sister-in-law, and their friend Casey that I was like, oh, the first book of it I ever saw was at a Barnes and Noble. So it is pretty surreal to actually be here. Yes. And we love this location because they have posted Becca C. Smith for Grandma's Little Secret, for Arthur, for Mother Mercy, and now you, the third of the Thrilling Triplets, Thrilling Three. Yeah. As you dubbed yourselves. That's so true, yeah. Inimitable Books. We love a theme. We love a name. Yes. Alliteration. Yes, of course. All of the above. I'm going to try and not be too repetitive with questions from the other events. Please. But how does it feel to have this book in the hands of readers? Because some people have been getting their copies from your local bookstore. Your mom just said that her local bookstore has been like, we have it now. Because we did move the pub date. So everyone should have had it in hand by now. Gotta love customs. Right. But Amazon won't let you have it. But people have started getting the books in their hands. We gave out ARCs. We gave out audiobook ARCs, which was super exciting. Yes. What do you think? You're like, you've been perceived for a long time online, but now you're writing as a book. Because none of us know what your romance pen name is. I know. No, I love that. I'm glad that people are finally getting to read it after working for so many years on it. It's really nice. And I love that we got to do the advanced listener copy. So I've been getting feedback on that. And the narrator, Ori Nash, is incredible. The accent she does are amazing. And so it's been really fun to see what people think of the killed it. Oh, she pun intended. Yes, she killed it. It's been fun to see the reaction and I say every mystery has a twist that is inherent to the genre, and so it's been fun to finally get to share because I'm an oversharer on my YouTube channel. I'm constantly telling people the plot of my books, and so I kept one little secret for this book. Yes, you did, and so it's been fun to see what people think once they get their hands on it. Also, I have yet to hear anyone say that they've correctly guessed the killer. I know, which is awesome. I'm hoping on second read, it's gonna be like, oh, there's a clue here, there's a clue there. Oh yeah, there are hints along the way, but yeah, it's been nice. I worked hard on that too because you don't want to make it too obvious. You don't want people to be able to not too obvious. Yes, because you have, Amara Franklin, who is a longtime fan of yours and inimitable, was majority of the way through the book before. I'm like, you should be sending your reactions publicly so I can share them for marketing purposes,
Right.
not just to my texts. Please and thank you.
That's so sweet.
And she was like, oh, this character has a good theory. And then Becca had been like, that's how I knew my theory was wrong because
Yes.
the character
If
was
the character states it in the book, they are wrong. And if that was your theory, unfortunately, that means you were also wrong.
It's like in the Clue game where it's like, I can help you. And you're like, no,
No.
that means I'm wrong.
Yes.
For people who missed it, we live streamed a Clue game before your first event in New York,
Yeah.
which was on Thursday.
It was so fun.
It was like over an hour of footage. It's currently sitting in my iMovie, and it's like the whole vlog for this week so far is like 3 hours. I'm
Oh
like,
my
it will
God.
not be that when it's posted.
Incredible.
But let's talk a little bit about the book for people who are watching the live stream and maybe don't know as much about it as your family, my family, your friends who are here. So, you know, our lovely event coordinator said think and then there were none. You said that pretty much off the bat. I then passed that along to Shelf Awareness, which they grabbed and ran with, which was like awesome.
Love.
Because you were picked as a galley love of the week, which was super, super fun.
Very sweet. Yes.
What else inspired you to write the book? I know that's a very tricked question, but I know you'll give a good answer.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I have loved Agatha Christie since I think I read my first book of hers or saw even like the first adaptation of hers. She's the Queen of Mystery. And then There Were None kind of was the originator of this idea of a locked room mystery where it's all the characters are together. You don't know who is doing it and they're kind of being picked off. So in theory, no one from the outside could be doing this. It has to be one of the characters that we've gotten to know really well. So I knew I wanted to do a version of that, take the inspiration from that. And then I think just being in the world of YouTube and Twitch and all the other things I do online, influencers felt very easy pickings to kill off. People feel a certain way. And so, yeah, I think it was just the amalgamation of that idea that was like, oh, this is it.
You talk about how it has to be one of the characters that you get to know. We are in every single person's head.
Yes.
Was there ever a time where you were like, maybe I'll cherry pick and not be in everyone's head? Because you do that for receiving the invitations.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, we're basically in everyone's head throughout the book. Not every second. We don't get every single scene from everyone because then the book would be like 3 times as long. But, it's never, we're left out in the cold of like not seeing into someone's mind as the events are unfolding.
Yeah. That there are invitations that are sent out to these characters. They're invited on a brand trip for this energy drink company that none of them have tried, but they've signed on to get sponsored by, get paid for. And
Ethics, who cares about those?
Who cares? So it was interesting to see which character would have maybe the best way of narrating a certain scene without also giving away anything. So I definitely wrote scenes that never end up in the book because it just was either too obvious or I realized that actually a different character would be better to be the one to tell it. But yeah, it was a trial and error method to figure out how that would go.
Yeah. I almost said something. I was like, nope, that's actually not accurate. So we're not going to put out misinformation. Also don't want to spoil the book.
Yeah.
So
no spoilers.
At another event, I'd asked you how, if you had always decided that Michelle was going to be the first character that we meet. She's coming back from like a shopping trip that she can't really afford.
She can't go.
At the start of the book. You went shopping today with some people in the city.
I did.
Was there anything you bought for yourself
that I couldn't afford.
No. Not quite the 100% parallel. But was there anything that you bought and felt like,
Oh,
I'm in New York, I need to buy this on your trip? It doesn't have to have been today.
right. No, I visited so many bookstores and I bought so many books. And my suitcase might be a little bit too heavy on the way home. We're gonna find out. I don't know if there's one specific New York thing that I bought. I did go to the Disney store today and I had to buy a little they have Minnie Mouse as the Statue of Liberty. And I simply had to get it. So
Yeah, love Minnie Mouse. Okay. You have characters who are not your gender, not your race, not your online niche, also very different ethics than you. How did you put yourself into those characters?
yeah, there's a couple characters that I don't know if this is totally true, but I do think that there's some part of yourself that you put into all of your characters, even the terrible ones. A lot of these characters are terrible. You are kind of rooting for them to die. So,
And many of them are not terrible.
yeah, some of them are more redeemable than others. I think some of them you learn more about them and you're like, oh.
Well, it's like,
And then you're so excited that they die.
well, it's like you're terrible, but here's a redeeming quality, but also you're terrible. It does not negate the terribleness.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I definitely gave some of them. I mean, one of the characters, Ro, is a book talker from my TikTok girlies out there. And so she also maybe she steals real stories from the lives of her friends. Maybe she uses some AI that she shouldn't be using.
Which I just straight up plagiarized.
Maybe she
in my book.
plagiarizes, you know, but like I mean, I'm on the book talk sphere, so it was easy to take parts of that. I gave the character of Olivia some of my own anxieties. You know, there are parts of me in all of the characters, just some a lot more than others.
Not the really bad stuff, to be clear. This is not like a fictionalized confession.
Oh my god, no. That could you imagine how much I'd be confessing to?
We have to make that very clear.
Yeah.
Andrew's book, Mother Mercy, where she's like, I do work in IT. This is theoretically how you would do stuff. I don't do this because I don't commit crimes.
Yeah, that's smart. Good.
But speaking of crime, was there one that you had fun researching, coming up with, then having to research and be like, is this even feasible? Because
Yeah.
the characters are not innocent. You don't necessarily know what they've done right out of the gate. We can't really talk about specifics without spoiling the book, but
I watched a lot of documentaries. I'm a big documentary girly. I wish I could remember what this was called because I was talking to Becca about it, who co-hosted a couple of the other events with me. There's a Kiki Palmer narrated documentary that helped me
when
come
you
up
say
with.
Kiki Palmer, so now I have to look it up.
You simply must. It's incredible, and that helped me come up with some of the things for the character Sanjeev, and what he may or may not have done, allegedly. And yes, so I tons of research. I think we talked about before. There's a character who's a pilot, and so I really messed up my YouTube algorithm watching a whole lot of like the pilot view of things and like learning about that. Yeah.
Also, you messaging me at like the 11th hour and being like, I messed up the private jet seating arrangement.
Because I got so into the research, I was like, technically what I wrote would not work with a single pilot aircraft. And so I needed to change it. And it needs to be a single pilot to get them all to the island. And so,
Can't have
yes,
too many chefs in the kitchen.
exactly.
And the married chefs
The married chefs,
hate each other.
they do. Yes.
I kind of, there's like one scene where one's holding a knife, but I kind of just imagine like what happened if she started actually throwing it, which may or may not happen, but I'm just saying I imagine it happening before whatever happens in the book.
I think the character of Lauren has envisioned that exact thing multiple times. What if I simply threw this at him?
What if I just went solo?
What if I just cut him off? Literally.
Well, if she ends up cutting him up, then we're in Grandma's Little Secret territory.
That's true. Yes, we do loop it back around into a different book. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was there any sort of glee you had when killing off? I know you had glee killing off all of them, but like any more than the others.
Ooh, I'm trying to think without giving away a spoiler.
And why? Like, so is it like, oh, they are one of the worst people, so you really wanted to kill them? Or was it like, oh, the method was fun? Or it could have been both. You know, you saved the really creative stuff for the really, really bad people.
Yeah. Oh, I had so much fun with the deaths in this book. There were definitely like some of them where I enjoyed the method of the killing rather than again, because I created all these characters. Some of them I did feel some amount of sympathy for despite them being terrible. And I was like, oh, do you have to die? But you do have to die. So
Did
then
you have like kill your darlings written above your computer?
yes, I was like, I need to get rid of them. And so some of them, the method was really fun. Some of them, I took so much glee in several of them where I was like, this is in some ways cathartic because like Chandra, I would simply never kill anyone. But in right on the page,
Yeah,
imagination is not illegal.
And it's very good.
Yes.
We are fiction writers and publishers and FBI, CIA, alphabet soup who are inevitably eavesdropping on us in our search histories.
Yes.
It's for fiction. You're not the author who wrote a book about grief and it turned out that she had murdered her husband.
Right. That's
That would have been fun if you had put it in the book. If you made Roe just that much worse.
oh my god. Well, next one.
No promises. I believe this is a standalone. You have other stories.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not like an imagined sequel or prequel. I'm sorry if people start asking for that.
No, we also would have you kind of run out of characters, so I don't know how easy that would be.
I don't know. I feel like someone would find a way to be like, hey, give us a prequel. I think we don't.
You know what? For the people that are buying their book today, there is the bonus content in the back. That is
Yes.
a chapter that is a prequel, and I think maybe explains
Yes.
some of what we see throughout the book. So if they want that,
Nice
they can buy a
segue.
physical copy.
I'm proud of you for that.
She's an advertiser.
Yes, this bonus scene is only in the hardcover. It's not in the ebook and it's not in the audiobook. So it was a lot of fun to get. I do believe there's one character mishap in that scene because I edited it separately.
Oh, that's so funny.
So it is in the printed book, but we did fix it for the ebook.
Correct. Yeah. Yes.
So sorry if you find a character and you're like, who is this?
They had a name change.
They had a name
Like the
change.
game name change.
We just made them even more of a jerk. Like, of course that's their name.
Yes.
I mean,
Okay.
your previous name was good, and I was actually very proud of you for having named all your characters before it reached me.
Thank you.
Because for people who know Kate's YouTube channel, she's constantly talking about how she can't name her characters.
It is my least favorite thing. I know some people love it. Some authors are like, I am gonna Joe Shaker. My friend Joe is also a writer, and we share the same thing where we're like naming them. That's I feel a vibe. I see a vision of them, but their name just simply eludes me.
And I love the naming process. And Chandra and I had a lot of fun being really, I guess, like ironic and cruel to our character. Sure, her characters.
Yes.
When we changed her name, the main character from her book.
Oh my god, so exciting.
But I think what I was worried I was annoying you by being like, what are their follower counts? Because under the dust jacket, Kate, if you want to show it off, we have this fun little thing under the dust jacket called the kill list. And it's all the characters. And to not give spoilers, it is not in any order that is relevant to the book other than their social media follower counts.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know who the killer is, you would assume it would be, I'm going to knock off the most famous person first.
Some could assume that,
Right.
but that's not correct.
That's not correct, which is the fun of it.
Yes.
But I was like, Kate, I don't pay attention to half these niches. Is makeup still number one?
Oh my god. Yeah, that was really fun.
Yes.
I did pull from some inspiration in real life during for my beauty guru friends, the Dramageddon of it all. Thank you.
I just feel so multiple. I don't know.
There was Dramageddon 2.0. Yes, of course.
Yeah, that was fun to
A
listen.
time to be on the internet.
I know. And then there was a word, I think you called it a de-stash or something. And I was like, I don't know what this is. And you're like, that's what it's called. I'm like, I'm going to trust you.
Yeah.
On it. But this is how you spell zhuzh.
Oh my god. Zhuzh.
So that was fun.
I know.
Was there anything in the book that you wanted to put in, but you couldn't because either an editing note that I had given you, a beta reader comment, or other feedback made you realize like this isn't good? Not something that you were like, this doesn't serve the story. It will stay in your Scrivener file, maybe be reworked to be in another story someday, but just someone else had to be the voice to make you realize like, oh, guess not.
That's a great question. I don't know if there was a note about something I needed to take out necessarily, but one of the notes that you gave me is we needed to see more of the characters' point of views. And that was really helpful. So I'm kind of an underwriter, which means that I tend to, with every revision, I add more words in. I'm constantly kind of adding new scenes. So I have the bones of the story to start, and then I'm just constantly adding new parts to it. And so when I got the note that I was like, oh, that is a great point. I do need to add a few more kind of critical scenes from different point of views in there. It's those kind of notes that are so fun to get because now it's like I get to go back and play again rather than, revising the same work over and over. So
because there were two characters. I mean, they're all important. It is a very balanced cast. Obviously, the killers are the most important, but you don't know who those are to start. Where I was like, these get lost in the shuffle. I want to see more of Olivia. I want to see more of Michelle. We've really had to see more of Michelle given she's in the book description and
she is the first chapter. Yes.
It sets an expectation for readers. It's like, her chapters are great. Not enough.
We just need more. Yeah. And I think it's great because if I am allowed to pick, I think those two are two of my favorite characters and were two of my favorite characters to write. And so getting told we need more of them, I was like, that.
Okay, so now who was your least favorite character to write and why? Without spoiling the book.
I know, without spoiling the book is so hard.
You could say they were just a jerk because
I think one of them was just a jerk. I had a couple jerk characters that were fun to write because they were like a little bit silly, and I think there's some characters that take themselves, just like in real life, take themselves more seriously than others. And so the ones that didn't take themselves too seriously were, they were a bit of a laugh. But yeah, there were a couple jerk characters that
I'm just trying to see if Nick was one of the ones we
tell me it was Nick. Yeah, no, Nick sucked. Actually, he was fun to write in that he's so counter to anything that I think, feel, or believe that it was like, oh, this is an interesting writing exercise.
Yeah. But you're also like, I kind of hate being this person,
really
even just
like
on the
that.
page.
Yeah, but then I tried to make him like,
Oh, he was comedic relief.
Yeah. But
also just
he sucked. Yeah.
He's the definition of why are men. And I think Lauren has reached that level.
Yeah. That's, again, I think she's envisioned throwing in the knife at him many times.
Yeah. That wouldn't have gone over well with their followers, though. Oops.
Yeah. Sorry, word of my husband. Yeah.
That's not quite the rebrand she's hoping to get.
No.
Do we have any questions from the physical audience before we then toss it over to people who are watching through YouTube, who are not currently here, our digital audience? Yeah, because we couldn't do thanks for watching without your digital audience. Nicole's audience started out. Oh, no, thanks to you. Because you're the one who told me to make a YouTube channel. You're in grad school for publishing. What's that like? And, oh, you should make your own publishing company because the way this literary agency treated you was shit.
Oh my God.
Not Devil Wears Prada level of abuse. To me.
Not quite, yeah.
I mean, the company was that level. Wasn't at me though. But yeah, any questions from the audience?
I want to know what inspired the setting and the island that all the influencers went to.
Oh my gosh. I when you're thinking of a locked room mystery, it's like, where are you going to put them that no one else can find them? So it was I referenced in the book that they'd gone on like a ski trip before and they'd gone to like a cabin in the woods before, some of them together. And so it's because I had thought about those as possible locations instead. If I would like, I wanted a wintry thing. But honestly, I just really like the idea of like the juxtaposition between this summer oasis and this island, and it's supposed to be so perfect and wonderful, and you're in your bikini and like no worries, and then people start dying. So I just liked the counter of that, and so an island was
I
was
like
the
that
answer.
because a lot of the comps I was calling for it when I was pitching it to Simon and Schuster, being like, I promise you, if there's a market for this, there's always been a market for mystery. A lot of them were in fall, winter. There was one called the Writers Retreat, which I think was
I read
in
that.
a cabin.
It was in a cabin.
Yes. I was like constantly texting you. You're like, oh, I read that. I'm like, of course you did.
I love a mystery. Yeah, yeah. It's well, because I think for those, it's like you want something desolate and creepy and whatever. But I think, especially because this book it's silly and funny and it's snarky and it's meant to like you're meant to have a good time. I think I needed that island component.
Nice. Any other questions? Let's go to the back and then we'll do your mom next. But first, we're gonna have my mom ask a question.
I'm wondering, like, what process do you go through from getting the initial idea to the point of actually starting to write?
Well, this was unique, right? You were starting to change your writing process,
Yeah, you nailed
which
it.
is
I was.
vlogged and in the playlist.
Right. Yeah. I used to what was called in the writing community, I used to pants my novel, which is you're flying by the seat of your pants. And I used to just I would just write any scene that came to me, no matter what order it was in. And which is wonderful. It is so much fun to write that way. Unfortunately, it's not as fun to revise that way or edit that way because you have to fill in all the gaps. And
Agreed.
I have infamously written a book where I had 2 Thanksgivings, and that really messed up the timeline. You can imagine because that simply does not work.
And
And
still not as bad as an inimitable author who submitted a draft of a book that was a romance and then skipped the dating part. I will never
Oh my God.
live that down.
that is really funny, actually. Surprise, they're together. Yeah, and so for this one, it was actually part of like a challenge for myself to change my writing process where I wanted to come up with the pitch first and then like a query, something I would send an agent or a publisher, and then a synopsis, and then come up with an outline and write from there. And it turns out that that advice works really well, even though I hated it. And
Thank you, Auburn.
I know, Auburn. They were the ones I got to interview them for a podcast I was doing at the time, and it was so much fun, and they were really the inspiration for that. Yeah, so I think that the idea does kind of ruminate around still for a while. You got to kind of play with it in your head before you actually put it down on the page. And I think despite having this idea first, I actually worked on a different story in between. But I came back to it because it kept calling to me.
Yeah. And I went through every single one of Kate's videos to find every time she mentioned this book.
Right. So you actually probably know more about it than
I mean, it happened to you.
Yeah.
It was called Under the Influence, though. So if you go back and watch that playlist and you're like, what book is this? It's this one. Just, we had to change it because Simon and Schuster had another book about influencers called Under the Influence.
It was too good of a title. I should have known.
I mean, you can copyright a title, but I was like, there's no way Simon and Schuster is going to let us do this with the same title.
Yes, but this one is so good.
Yeah.
And you did.
That was fun. Although, it took us way too long to come up with it, I'll be honest.
It did, yeah. When you're going through a title change after you've been calling something a certain title for years at that point, and then you're like, well, what else could fit? I think we had a list that was so long, and the titles are actually more of like a publishing decision than an actual writing decision because
Yeah.
it's like the
It's
marketing, it's everything else. So that's something that was really nice that I mean, I know some people where their publisher was like, "LOL, this is the new title." So it's been nice.
I consulted you.
You did. You thankfully consulted me. We literally hopped on a call and we're like, okay, let's try and brainstorm this. And yeah, I think we had like 20 different possible titles before.
We did categorize them though to quickly be like, let's just get these 6 out of the way.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
But I still need someone to go through and do a supercut of all of Kate's videos in every iteration that you say, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for watching. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, no, I actually have been taking, not when I say it, but when other people say it. So like they did a YouTube Jeopardy thing where Ken Jennings says thanks for watching. And I was like, yoink. And so I will,
Well,
hopefully I'll finish it by May 12th.
I know because,
The real publishing date.
well, because I'll, binge watch Good Mythical Morning or Try Guys and, whatever they say. I'm like,
Yes, that's my title.
okay,
Right.
Mama Kavanaugh.
Yes. A lot of us following your vlog know of numerous projects in the works.
I know
Which-
most of them. At the
Which project are you thinking of developing into fruition for publishing next or soon?
Ooh.
And was it in your latest video where you're like, here are 4 projects I'm working on, and I had to comment, yeah, I love that you publish them on YouTube before sending them to me.
When am I getting that? I mean, I do think that the next one will be a self-published or an indie published project, which is a Closet Full of Cauldrons, which is a cozy mystery. But we did come up with I came up with 4 ideas that I do need to actually legitimately pitch you. I think better as a follow-up.
I've heard of them.
I know, yeah.
Well, I watched the YouTube video. I think I know which 2 I'm leaning towards, but until they're actually in my inbox, I'm not
Simply
simply
can't wow. But
Oh, so you can't
That's
have
what I did.
information. Yeah.
Well, you can ask her what she thinks. It's just whether or not I'm.
I have one.
You got 4. Tell them.
Here's the thing. I know one that Sarah's interested in, which is what I've been jokingly calling my serial killer musicians in love.
You
Which
say it as a joke, but it's like that's
It's
what it
literally
is.
the premise of the book. And so I think, like the early 2000s indie sleaze era of music. And turns out this band that's on the road is also killing some bad people. This is a theme. I love killing bad people in the books. So I think that will be really fun.
I mean, who doesn't love a Dexter like serial killer?
Love Dexter. Yes.
But yeah, that is one of the ones I really like. There was another one that you threw in there. Ooh, maybe.
Question
I
mark.
don't know. But also what really hurt my soul was in your, I think, first vlog about that musician serial killer romance where you're like, does this count as historical if it's about Warped Tour? And I was like, I'm younger than you, and that hurt my soul.
It hurt me so bad when I realized technically this would be a foray into historical. I was like, ugh, oh my gosh.
Just if it's not about a world war or regency, my brain refuses to accept it as historical.
I agree, but I've been trying to get better at the marketing. And in my head, I was like, oh, if your marketing is early 2000s, that is unfortunately historical fiction.
No, but the word historical just makes me think like old. Whereas I'd almost rather call it retro, even though that's not what I think of as retro.
Yeah, but
Also insulting.
actually,
Just hurt our feelings the way that the internet does.
exactly.
But speaking of like retro and like older stuff, the cover had a different color scheme from the cover artist at first.
It did.
And we both looked at it and immediately said 70s.
It did. It had like a little bit more of a yellow greenish tint. It was very pretty because we gave the cover designer some concepts that we really enjoyed. And again, it was really nice to be included in that as an author because again, covers are also marketing. That is a publisher's decision.
And sometimes publishers are like, here's your book, you're gonna like it.
Literally, yes. They're like, well, there you go. And so it was, but then he came up with like the play button in the center.
Which there's a word for that.
Oh my
That's
God.
someone
Yes.
in your Twitch stream said it. I have already forgotten it, so
I don't remember.
sorry.
Yeah, but he wanted more of a retro 70s look. And we were like, can we make it more sunsetty? And sure enough, yeah, he was fine with it. And I love it. It looks so good.
Yeah, but I think your favorite color purple.
Green and purple.
Yeah, green and purple, and we actually got rid of the green. You know, the purple's there. Purple's my favorite color. It worked out.
It did.
Any other questions? If you've already asked a question, you can technically ask another question, and we will also be
Yes.
trying to get.
Strange man. My brother.
I knew you were talking about your brother, not my cousin.
Not only are they in the audience, it's man.
So you're talking about like archaic fiction. So with UFC, reality TV having grown from like early 2000s to now, and influencers are
Yeah.
kind of the main cast members of reality TV, it feels like now. Is there any one singular person that you could name drop as an influencer or reality TV show cast member that you would say you drew inspiration from for a character in the book?
That is a great question. Tread carefully for legal reasons.
Right. See, this is I technically, and only because they're all terrible. I actually, as someone who is such a reality TV trash panda, I don't think I pulled affectionate trash panda. I don't think I pulled reality TV as much, even though I could write you an entire dissertation that you don't want, but I will send you about influencer pipeline.
I now want a video essay on your YouTube. It can
you know
be
what?
post publication day.
Done. Yes, I have a lot of thoughts.
The marketing doesn't end on publication day.
No, that's true. So to not answer your question,
Thank you. So you're a politician of you. I
thank you.
I'm her handler.
How do you get into like the creative mindset to write?
Ooh, I will say that I have a Twitch stream that I do every weekday at the exact same time. And even though this is again advice that I would have hated to hear before, I think there's something to be said for picking a time and showing up. Even if you only write a sentence that day, at least you showed up for yourself at that time. It's just a promise, a commitment that you're making to yourself. I am such a morning person, so sometimes I just like to roll out of bed and start writing. And I'm not judging myself yet. You know, it's early still. And so I think that time for creating is really nice. Some people prefer late at night, you know, but yeah, I think the commitment to myself, even if it was like 15 minutes, I think just promising yourself that day is really helpful.
We have some questions from the chat if you want to do those while other people
Hello,
think
chat.
of theirs.
Yeah.
Okay. Regina says, do readers need a chart or diagram to keep the relationship straight in the book?
I could draw one out.
For
That could
marketing.
be that could be fun to do. I don't think so. I hope that I created the relationships at the beginning. You knew who were kind of
You
put
do.
together.
You do.
Um,
Actually, I was going to say once they're on the plane, but it already starts showing up when they're in the air.
just before, yeah. But I thought I love the idea and I love a diagram. So I will get you one, Regina.
Lab of influence.
Oh. Hey.
It's like 6 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon.
Yes.
Just that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't talk about any real people who might have influenced you, but we definitely mentioned some controversial things like in the book.
Yes, there are allusions to controversial real people in the book, and that
We
was
straight up say Diddy on purpose.
it was a purposeful decision because I wanted to make it clear that these characters are not good characters. And to be in that same sphere, I think for them, for
Is
these
the
terrible
clout.
characters, is it's a clout thing
Yeah.
to be. And so who cares if they've done bad things? And I think some people do think that way, the characters that
Because
think they
someone
would feel
in a
that way.
review was like, why would you say that? And I'm like, because it shows that they're terrible people.
because they're bad.
But like, you know, author not supposed to respond to reviews, publisher also not supposed to respond to reviews. So
You're
it's
like,
like, we saw
block it.
it. This was on purpose. Let's see. Rings Roses what was your favorite part of writing this story? A favorite chapter, character, etc. I feel like if you say a favorite chapter, you're not going to remember the number because I switched around how we organized your book.
That actually, can I say that that's one of my favorite things? Is there are some very, very, very short chapters, which I love when I'm reading a book. So when you get deeper into the book, you're gonna turn a page and it's going to be 2 chapters back to back, and the text is like this big. It's like 3 sentences. And
There are some one sentence.
there's some one
chapters.
sentence chapters, and I just
We didn't
I
quite
love it.
get to James Patterson. I think he had
One
a
word.
one word chapter in a Maximum Ride book where it was like shit.
I think that's incredible. That's incredible. I love that.
So that's why I was
Yeah, when I was originally drafting, I was calling them everyone chapters, but the chapters are from a specific point of view each time. And so when we were trying to think of a better way to organize the book itself, it was what if we just make these their own chapters?
well, just because you had certain everyone chapters where it would have worked, you're hopping around and no one is taking up too much page space. And then there were like 2 where I was like, this needs to be broken up. Like readers are gonna be like, how much longer is in this chapter? Not because it's not good, but they're going to want to see like just out of curiosity.
They need to know how someone's doing,
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we played around with that.
Yes.
But yeah, so you can't say chapter without
Mhm.
absolutely spoiling it.
Right.
Because at this point, you'd have to describe what's in the chapter.
Yeah. Well, you know what I will say is that there is an epilogue in this book, which I'd not always envisioned there being an epilogue. But as soon as I had the idea, I think it quickly became one of my favorite chapters. I think
I think you handled it really well.
I think it ended up being a great way to tie it together. And so I think, so you have to read the entire book and then you'll see my favorite chapter.
But you didn't write a prologue.
I did not read for
People who don't know, she skips reading prologues.
Not always. I know, controversial opinion. Not always do I skip them. It's just when they're really long and seem unrelated to the rest of the book.
Or it's Strange the Dreamer and it spoils the
It spoiled.
whole book.
Literally, my friend Jess and I did an experiment where we were doing a buddy read. I skipped the prologue of Strange the Dreamer. She read it, and it turns out it spoils something that's pretty critical to the book later. Sometimes a prologue is supposed to act as a teaser, and sometimes it gives away too much. And so I will just be
I mean, as much as
Happy
we
not-
rag on Twilight, the prologue did its job.
It's
And they literally ripped it for the movie.
yeah, no, true.
So,
And I don't think I skipped that prologue.
okay. And then you said that your 2 favorite characters were Michelle and Olivia. Is there another person who
I think-
tops them?
I think Michelle, Olivia, and Ro. I like Ro. I think she's just so central to.
But you're gonna
the
say
spirit.
Sarah. I don't know why, because she's just such a fun character.
She is a really fun character. She has, and the narrator does a wonderful job with her very thick Southern accent, and
which may or may not be put on.
which may or may not be fake. Yeah. She was very fun to write. I mean, so many of them were fun to write.
Yeah.
And I don't know that she was my favorite character. Yeah.
Oh, I saw a hand for a second. We can prioritize real life questions over digital ones, but there are 2 more in the chat if people still need time to think. And also trying to surreptitiously time. Yeah, we still got time. So let's keep going. Sorry, Kate, I keep kicking the foot.
Oh, that's okay.
JC said, what are your thoughts on turning Thanks for Watching into a movie at some point? Who would you task to play the characters if you could have your dream cast? We've already discussed that you need to make a casting post because
I do.
multiple inimitable books authors have done it.
I need to
Like
hop on
this
this
week.
trend. Yeah.
Just
like my characters, I love a trend, and I do need to hop on it. You know what? I had a friend that read, or a friend of a friend that read it, and she was like, I could see this being a movie. And it's like, what a compliment.
I mean,
I would love it. It would be so fun.
I could see it as a movie. Someone I know who works in entertainment was also like, your pitch alone makes it sound like it could be a movie.
Say more.
I can't because it's literally all I've heard.
Yeah,
They're reading it.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's the thing, is that authors unfortunately have no control over turning it into a movie, though I will simply hope. I think it would be really fun to be turned into like a movie or a mini series even.
I was
I think it would be
gonna say,
really fun.
Like, would you want like a maybe more limited series version of White Lotus if it gave us more time with the characters? Or would you be like, no, I want it to be a movie like Glass Onion? Although you took it further than Glass Onion, and for that I thank you.
Yes, yeah.
Because I was sitting at the end of that movie and I'm like, these assholes got away with so much.
In that movie, I I think a limited series would be fun because I do think that there is some extra history with the characters that because I keep it all in the present. There's not,
We could actually see those
you can
walls.
actually see you could see the behind the scenes a little bit more that's just referenced or alluded to, and I think that could be really fun if it was a limited series. Yeah.
Nice. Question from Amara, who is the one who is live threading
I know.
her reactions at like the last 5 chapters of the book.
Love it. Iconic.
You're at an influencer event, which may or may not be something that you cover in the book, especially the hardcover, and see each of your characters. Who do you hang out with, and who do you hide behind a plant from? Follow-up question, which I'm going to just combine with it.
Okay.
Do you throw a drink in anyone's face, and if so, who?
Ooh.
Has to be your character though. It can't be like,
Right.
oh, here's an event with real celebrities and my characters, and I throw a
And I
drink.
throw it in Brad Pitt's face. Yeah. I would dream of throwing a drink at someone, but I would never do it. I would think that like I just simply could not fathom, even if they were terrible.
Okay, so who are you hiding?
Who am I hiding from?
And then who are you hanging out with?
I'm gonna hide from Nick
And Cody.
and Cody. I'm hiding from both of them. I do think, here's the thing, I love overhearing a shit talk session. So I think Sanjeev and Sarah chatting together would be
Sanjeev.
very fun to eavesdrop on. And I do think I would hang
Would
out-
Ro be nearby also eavesdropping?
Oh, yes, that's the problem. Writers, we love an eavesdrop. Ro would also, but I wouldn't chat with Ro. She wouldn't chat with me. I would like to chat with
They
Michelle.
find out that you're a bride shop and want to steal your ideas.
Yes, it would be.
So she try and get
I need to stay away.
because you overshare.
Oh, well.
You said it, not me.
Hold on.
You said it, not me.
Yeah.
Earlier in this very.
No, yeah, that's fine. I use my own words against me. Yeah, I think Sanjeev and Sarah just to overhear would be very fun.
Just to hear the latest tea.
Yes, they would have all the gossip.
JC, who got an arc, was like, oh, you're absolutely hiding from Nick. So everyone who's read the book knows that Nick is the worst. Amara loved the short chapters. Narrator did such a good job. Yes, all fun. Do we want to do one last few questions before we move over into signing?
If there are any other questions, but otherwise.
Alrighty, we can move into signing. Get your signing hand ready.
Yes.
Although we do need the markers.
Uh-oh, the weird guy.
You guys don't worry.
Ew, who let him in?
Ew.
So writers love eavesdropping.
Yeah.
What's like the top people watching or like eavesdropping spot? Heard some hot gossip.
You can't just say cafe. I'm gonna take that
Okay.
off the table because I feel
Yeah.
like that's really cliche and obvious, even if it's true.
And
Yeah.
you say airport.
You cannot preemptively judge me for my answer.
I'm loving it. I
Yeah.
just want an interesting answer. from
Yeah.
you.
I think where's the most interesting place I've eavesdropped on someone? I do it everywhere. Me too. Do not speak too loudly. I've been just inching closer to you.
I mean, I have crazy hearing anyway, so it's like I don't even have to move.
Yeah. Ooh. I'm sorry. I'm seeing my friend Casey. And I will say that at Disney World, my husband and I have
Do you walk behind people who are like,
behind, to the side. People are having their best and worst days of their lives there. And it is so entertaining. And
you
so
get into the Oscars, so this is
this exactly this is
the
my
highest
Oscars.
of moments.
Yes.
Live. Yeah.
Was that sufficient? Was that okay? No, it would not have been good enough.
He's your brother though.
I know.
How it's
Yeah, I will say on the street here in New York,
Oh, yeah.
that's you know the problem is that I also find myself not caring as much either. So I'm just like, and I'm like, you could eavesdrop on me and I would never know. And so just walking around the street.
I live in a place in New York where a lot of people are always, and it's like, you might think that that's everywhere in New York, and to some degree that's true, but there are busier hubs than others. And there was one day I was walking down the street, and behind me I hear some guy talking in Hebrew, and in front of me I hear someone arguing in Cantonese, and like to the left I heard someone speaking in Spanish. I'm just saying, God, I love New York. I can't understand a single word of this.
I will say that is that's the
I am
only down.
monolingual, and I wish I wasn't.
Guys, that's the only downside about traveling is I'm like, I am missing out on some tea. I know I am, and I just don't understand.
There has to be something, but my babysitter used to, speak in rapid fire Spanish, and my mom would be like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And she'd be like, "Yeah, I was just going over like the grocery list with my mom." So, it might sound dramatic, and it might be the most mundane thing.
Yeah, when you don't know what someone's saying.
It's fine. You can imagine though. And that's what us writers do.
Correct.
Let's see if there's any other questions before we. Amara said Sarah would be very deserving of a drink in the face, but
Oh my God, yes.
I feel like if you did it to someone, then Lauren would have the courage to do it today. So you'd get a 2-for-1?
Oh, well, I would be willing to do it to help someone else. So yes. I'll do it, sir.
Like that's hard.
Exactly.
As you do it to Sarah, who's also a girl.
Well. Women's rights and wrongs. Yes.
I mean, really, that's the entire thriller books and enigma books. We support women's rights and wrongs.
What drink would you throw in someone's?
Ooh, did you watch Smash? Because Angelica Houston was always throwing a drink in her ex-husband's face. What the character?
Right. No,
It was fabulous. And there's one moment in an episode where he like hands it to her because he just knows that it's
That's wonderful. My brother has been quoting the Sex and the City line nonstop. God, what is it? Wait, do it real quick.
Dirty martini. Dirty bastard.
So I feel like it would have to be a dirty martini. Although we've been having a lot of mezcal, an extra punch to my mezcal.
mezcal, not a jalapeno margarita.
Ooh.
I mean, put a jalapeno in the mezcal. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because my mom loves a jalapeno margarita, and then I like the mezcal, so really it's
So,
combo and
Yeah.
1-2 punch.
oh yeah.
Well, I don't like mezcal, so please throw it. Because that'll be going to waste.
She's like, how dare you?
And I'm just thinking of Dylan, the bartender, being like, "You're wasting top shelf."
Yes.
Oh, no, please don't.
Devastated.
No, don't waste any time.
Yes.
These entitled
Oh,
people.
that's her scenes were really fun to watch. Fun to write. Because it was.
Visual writing.
I
You
am
don't
visual-
have
I-
education like me, so you can.
That's right. I am actually imagining the scenes unfold as I'm typing them, and
Did
so
you thank yourself for watching.
I did think myself. Yes. Oh my God.
Your first viewer.
Was me. Yes.
I think with that, we're going to wrap it up. People are really enjoying the idea that you're just eavesdropping on these awful people. Hey, you know what? If it gets turned into a movie, limited series, full TV show, although then you'd have to write more material probably. Can you just do a cameo? I love when Can authors do cameos in their stuff?
Stop it. I would love that. And then I would eavesdrop on the entire cast. And I would
Exactly.
know all the tea.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
a dream.
But
But
like-
then
But maybe don't write a book like Stephanie Meyer was when she was in Twilight and she was like writing Midnight Sun and she was like people are gonna screenshot, like zoom in and screenshot this. I'm like, then why'd you do it? Oh, I know they're gonna do that.
oh my God, no, I feel like I would do that on purpose. Like it's a little clue. I think that's fun.
What's Kate writing next? As if you're not gonna tell us in a vlog.
I know. Overshare.
So if you're not subscribed to Kate, subscribe, watch the Thanks for Watching playlist, and buy the book. I think that's really the best way to wrap it up. Thanks for watching this live stream.
Oh, hell.
And, yeah, thanks for coming digitally, and thanks for coming physically, and take your first sign now. Thank you.
These books will be upstairs at our cash registers for purchase. And then we'll get